Welcome back to the Man2Man podcast. I'm your host, Jackson Chapman, and my co-host is not here today. In fact, I have two people on the podcast, and one of them is not my brother. One of them is my father, and another one is my girlfriend's father, Chad. And we are going to test their knowledge to see how much useless sports crap that they know in their head, because, let's face it, I find myself knowing a bunch of useful stuff that I just do not need to know, and the two people that I think have more useless knowledge of sports, old sports stuff, than me would be these two. So go ahead and hop on the show, you two. So this is my dad right here, Ed Chapman. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Ed Chapman.
He's been on the show before. And then this is Melanie's dad. This is Chad Schiffer. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Chad Schiffer.
This is he's a big fan of the show. He watches it quite a bit. And so what I've done is we're gonna go 4 questions of 3 rounds each. There's an MLB round, an NBA round, and an NFL round. And so they'll get 4 questions each, specifically geared towards his interests, which are like the Cubs and the Vikings, and then you'll get some Cardinals questions, stuff like that. And we'll see who gets the most points. And yeah, let's do it. Are you guys ready to go? Which round do you want to start with? Which sport do y'all want to start with? Y'all have a preference?
I don't have a preference.
You don't have a preference? We'll go MLB to start. All right, so let me get my questions up. All right. Oh, go ahead.
Are these questions geared to individually toward us?
So 2 questions are geared toward your sports team's interest, and then 2 questions are just random knowledge that you would know from being an MLB fan or NBA fan.
Okay.
So, like, for this round, the MLB round, there's 2 Cubs questions for him, and there's 2 Cardinals questions for you, and then there's 2 questions that are just, if you know ball, you know ball.
Okay, general knowledge.
All right, so we'll start with the guest of the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so, Mr. Chad, who had the game-winning double in Game 7 of the 2016 World Series?
Ben Zobrist.
Okay, I knew that was going to be a quick one. Ben Zobrist, that is correct, so you have 1 point. All right, who was the left fielder for the Cubs during the infamous Steve Bartman foul ball?
Moises Alou.
That is also correct. 2 for 2 to start. I knew the Cubs questions would be pretty easy
Nice
for you.
softballs there.
Yeah,
nice
so
softballs.
hey, we're just getting started. All right, who won the 1991 World Series?
The Minnesota Twins.
And who did they play?
The Atlanta Braves.
Of
4
course you
games
knew
to
that.
3 in 11 innings.
Do you know who the MVP was?
That would be Kirby Puckett.
It was Jack Morris.
Jack Morris.
Jack Morris.
Okay.
All right, who was the 1997 home run leader?
Brady Anderson.
That one was Mark McGwire, and he had 57 home runs, and Ken Griffey Jr. was right behind him. So 3 for 4 in the MLB round. Pretty solid start. So Dad will go to you now for your MLB round. What was Matt Carpenter's home run superstition in 2018 when he hit 36 home runs?
His home run superstition?
Yes.
Are you talking about salsa?
The salsa.
Yeah,
Yes, the
okay.
salsa king.
All right.
So
I thought you were going to talk about, I thought if we were going deeper, we were talking about no batting gloves and...
Well, yeah, that was just a main, that was a staple.
Rubbing the dirt
Right.
between every swing.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
just a Matt Carpenter staple. But
All right. Yeah.
specifically that year,
The magic salsa.
he was the magic salsa
Right.
guy. All right, since I have been alive, who have been all of the Cardinals managers and in order?
Oh, okay. So you were born in 2002.
Good job.
Yeah.
Way to be a dad.
At that point, Tony, at that point, Tony La Russa was the manager.
Correct.
And then La Russa was replaced by Mike Matheny,
Correct.
who was replaced by Mike Schilt midseason,
Correct.
and then now Oliver Marmol.
That is correct. 2 for 2 for Dad. When was the DH implemented in the MLB?
Okay, the Major League. Okay, well, it was only implemented in the American League
Okay.
originally in 1973.
That is correct. All right. This one might be a little tough, but if I know you, I think you'll get this.
Wow.
All right.
Hey, wait a minute. Let's slow down. He got 3 out of 4. I've
And you're
already
3
gotten
for 3.
3, so there's no pressure here.
No pressure here.
Okay.
You could win round 1, but this is a tough one.
No, good.
Because I
Yeah.
kind of gave him a
All
shot
right.
in the dark of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
1997 home run leader, just seeing.
Right.
But this one,
That was an inspired Brady Anderson guess.
Yes,
I mean,
I think-
he did hit 50 in a season.
I think
once.
he was
Yeah.
4th on the
Yeah.
list.
Mhm.
So that was a good guess. All right, who was pitching for the Phillies when Joe Carter hit his walk-off home run to win the World Series?
That is former Cub Mitch Williams.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Mitch Williams.
That was probably a little too easy, honestly, but I'll take it. I'll take it.
You know, I
I
tried to
appreciate
get a little, so I got really bored.
The wow thing,
Yeah.
brought lots of heartburn to Cubs fans
Former Cub.
That's right.
Former
He was
Cub.
former Cub for a reason. He performed several miracles in 1989 as Cubs closer, but he used them all up.
Yeah.
He used them all up that year.
Well, he never really got an opportunity
Yeah.
in the playoffs because they didn't get
They
there.
never made. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
So Dad got 4 for 4 and 3
Okay.
for 4. So
Can I quit now?
no, you gotta keep going.
going.
As you can tell, I do a lot of my job at the Wellness Center, as I did this entire quiz during my time at the Wellness. You know, nobody really shows up at 5 a.m., so you got some time on your hands. So
Right.
that's what I did. All right, so now we are moving on to the NBA round. Are you gentlemen ready for the NBA round? It's going to be geared towards the 90s-ish, a little bit early 2000s.
Thank goodness.
Okay.
Thank goodness.
All right, so we'll go with Chad. Name all of Michael Jordan's starting point guards on his championship teams. There is 3 point guards.
John Paxson,
That is correct.
B.J. Anderson, or
Armstrong.
Armstrong,
That is correct.
and Ron Harper / Michael Jordan.
Yeah, it was Ron Harper.
Yeah.
Yes, those are the starting ones.
Good.
I use Basketball Reference for that
Yeah,
one.
that's good. No, that's good.
All right, what are the 3 numbers that Michael Jordan wore during his tenure with the Chicago Bulls? He wore 3 numbers.
It's a trick question.
There's 23.
There's 23, correct.
There is 45.
There's 45, and then there's one more.
9.
It was 12. He wore 12, I think, for one game. And
I was thinking Olympics.
Yeah.
yes, the Jordan Olympics.
He,
But that was a little bit of a trick one.
He had his jersey stolen in Orlando.
Right.
Right.
And then they made they put a picture of him in that 12 jersey. He appeared on someone's basketball card as just an extra player in the picture with that number 12
And I'm
jersey.
sure that card goes for an insane
Yeah.
amount of money.
Yeah.
Like the Billy Ripken card.
Yeah, right.
All right, so didn't get that one, but I think you might get this one. Which team was Kobe Bryant originally drafted by?
Charlotte.
That is
Yeah.
correct, the Charlotte
Very
Hornets.
good. Very good.
All right, last question of the NBA round. Name all the teams that Scottie Pippen played for.
He played for the Bulls,
Correct. There's 2 more.
Houston,
Yes.
and Portland.
That is
Yeah,
correct.
okay.
Again, 3 for 4. Second round for Mr. Schiffer. All right, Dad, we're going on to your NBA round.
I was afraid there was a team that I'd forgotten, and
Yeah,
Scotty, you narrowed it to 3, so that made it that made it easier for me because I would have feared there was one more in there
Right,
somewhere.
so-
Now he was drafted by somebody else.
I did not get that information.
He was drafted by Seattle
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
and traded on draft night. Yeah,
See, so some of these 90s guys,
The
like,
question was played.
yes,
that's right.
it was played.
That's right.
Some of these 90s guys, like Gary Payton, Patrick Ewing, and later in their career, they kind of switched to a lot of teams at the end of their
Right.
career, but only 3 for Scotty.
All right, good.
All right, Dad, who was the only player to start in every game for the Dream Team during the 92 Olympics? There was one player that started every single time.
Wow. I don't know. Well, I do know for a fact that I've never heard this trivia question.
Yes,
so
I looked
this
this up.
this is a total shot in the dark.
So there was one person that never started, which was John Stockton. He never started a game for the Dream Team.
Okay.
But
there's-
there's my guess.
So good. Okay, one
So
going.
yeah, I'll give you one. But there's one player that started every single game.
Well, I mean, you're working with Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Michael, Charles Barkley, David Robinson. I don't know why anybody would start ahead of Michael.
Mm-hmm.
That seems a little too obvious. So do all of them,
Right,
honestly.
right.
Actually, so I'm gonna say David Robinson.
It was Michael Jordan.
Oh,
The obvious answer.
You hit me. I assume that you're digging for something.
Right. I see. That was what
Sort of like
It
the
was
Jack
like-
Morris question.
Right.
It seemed like that was too obvious, right?
Mhm.
it was reverse psychology.
Yeah,
If
you
that's even a
doubled. Yeah,
thing.
you doubled me up there. Okay. Well,
All right. So
good job, Chuck Daly. Way to not overthink it.
Right.
Michael. Okay, you start every lineup with Michael, and then you can mix the other four
you can
guys.
go in and out. 'cause-
As long as Leitner doesn't start.
yes. Yes, that was the other guy that never started. Was Leitner and
Yeah.
Stockton.
Well, Leitner barely dressed. so.
Right. All right. In Kobe's final game, how many points did he score, and who did they play? This was in 2016.
He okay, so that's the 81-point game was against Toronto, but we're not talking about that one.
Nope.
But he had a crazy last game, took 1,000,000 shots, scored 60.
Scored 60. Took 47 shots.
And played against. This is another total guess, but maybe Portland.
It was the Utah Jazz.
Yeah. So I don't get credit, right?
No, you got to get both.
So I'm 0 for 2.
0 for 2.
So I got to get these two just to get back tied.
Right, you got to get tied.
Because he's 6?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
All right, so you've kind of...
No more 2-part questions, please.
You've kind of adopted the OKC fandom as me being a big fan. So during the 2016 MVP Russ season, can you tell me the starting 5?
Oh, no. Yeah.
So this is post 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 KD team.
Post Kevin Durant.
Yes.
No, I mean you have put me in no man's
okay,
land
so
here.
There's an obvious one.
So besides Russell Westbrook,
so there's Russ.
I mean, that's a long time ago. See, that's the thing. 1984 was 5 minutes ago in my brain,
right?
But 2016 might as well have been 1916.
Yeah.
I mean, was Raymond Felton on that team?
He was the backup point guard.
He's the backup point guard. I mean, I really can't guess. Nick Collison?
Let's think. Okay, let's think. Who was Russ's big man for most of his tenure in OKC?
I mean, I'm drawing a blank. You're just going to have to give it to me. I got nothing.
So it was Russell Westbrook, Victor Oladipo, Steven Adams.
Oladipo was there for like 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, he was there for one season, then got traded for Paul George.
Yeah.
Andre Roberson and Domantas Sabonis.
Oh my. Okay, well, if you wanted to get me down off my little high horse, I'm sufficiently down.
I thought your OKC fan would be there.
No, I do not have that level of fandom with that.
Makes
franchise.
Makes sense.
Not even close.
All right, but you know a little bit about Russ because I talk about Russell Westbrook a lot. So when Russ broke the all-time triple-double record, which team was he playing for?
Which team was he playing for?
Yes, not which team he was playing against. Which he has been on 5 different teams in 5 years.
Right.
Which team was he playing for when he broke this record?
I'm going to say Washington.
That is correct.
Okay, that was also a guess. I was afraid it was Houston, but nevertheless, I'll take the 1.
So you are down 1 to him?
Down 1.
So
6 to 5.
6 to 5. All right. Got down to the NFL round. Whew. All right, so NFL round, I got 2 Vikings questions for you, and then I got 2 Tom Brady questions for you.
Okay.
So, and then the other 2 after that are just normal NFL questions.
Okay.
All right, so during Adrian Peterson's tenure with the Vikings, name 5 of his quarterbacks. There is a list of 8.
Brett
Favre.
Christian
Ponder.
Teddy Bridgewater. Matt Castle. And
These other ones, they're a little tricky.
Tarvaris Jackson.
Tarvaris Jackson is the other one. You had Gus Frerotte, and Sam Bradford.
Yep.
One season, but good job on naming 5 of those.
I thought you said there were 8.
There is 8.
Oh, okay.
There's 7. There's 7.
Okay.
Sorry, there's 7.
Wow.
So
that's well done.
That's pretty well done. I had to go on Pro Football Reference and look up the starting quarterback during every year that Adrian Peterson was the starting running back.
Yep.
And this one I think should be a layup, but we'll just see if you maybe forgot. Who missed the field goal in the 2015 playoff game against the Seattle Seahawks in 2015?
I wish I could forget, but it was Blair Walsh.
It is Blair Walsh. That is correct. Now, I also gave you a Tom Brady question to see if you could rattle off some Tom knowledge. So Tom Brady has 7 Super Bowls, but only 5 Super Bowl MVPs. Who were the other 2 guys to win a Super Bowl MVP while they won the Super Bowl?
Deion Branch.
That is correct.
Wes Welker.
Julius
not Julius.
Yeah, you're on
Julius Edelman.
That is correct.
You were on the possession receiver guy. I knew you were on it.
Julian Edelman. That's a good one. All right, so if he gets this one, I think it's game over.
Right, I need a double or nothing in there somewhere.
Need a double or nothing. I might give you the tiebreaker question, and then I can think of another tiebreaker question just for fun. All right. Which team scored the most points ever in a Super Bowl?
That would be the San Francisco 49ers, 55-10 over the Denver Broncos, Super Bowl 24. Joe Montana.
That is
MVP.
correct.
Played in the New Orleans.
In
Super
New
Bowl.
Orleans.
Wow.
Oh,
That is insane.
I can't believe you gave him Super Bowl questions. I had heard about this insane Rain Man level knowledge
Now, we
of
might
all
have to-
Super Bowls, locations, MVPs, and everything. So I knew he was going to know the Deion Branch and eventually get the Edelman.
Now,
because
if we have some time left over, we can go through that, and also we can go through your World Series winners in a row, because both of these guys can just rattle these off, and it's insane.
assuming I'm having a good cognitive day, I can get through a lot of them.
All right, Dad. So you need these 4, and I'll throw in the tiebreaker question, and then I'll think of another one just for fun.
We'll see.
Why not?
All right.
All right. So name all of Tom Brady's opposing QBs in the Super Bowl that he won.
Oh, so no Eli Mannings.
So no Eli Mannings, because he couldn't do it against Eli.
In the Super Bowls that he won.
And there's 7 of them.
Okay, Patrick Mahomes.
Correct.
Jared Goff.
Correct.
Russell Wilson.
Correct.
Now I got to go back a little bit to Kurt Warner.
Correct.
Let's see here. Jake Delhomme.
Correct. 2 more.
Okay, I got to get locked in here for a second and dig back in there. Oh, Donovan McNabb.
Correct, and there's 1 more.
And then there's one more victory in there, and I'm forgetting the opponent right off the top. So just give me a second. The Philly, Carolina,
Rams. Then the
the
Seahawks.
Rams twice. It had a Seahawks. There was another. Matt Ryan.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Matt
you're
Ryan.
forgetting the most iconic
that's-
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I was about to say.
Matt Ryan.
All right. So, can you tell me where these three guys went to college? Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, and Emmitt Smith.
Jerry Rice went to Mississippi Valley State.
That is correct.
Randy Moss went to Marshall.
Yes.
Okay, after an attempt to
After
go to
an
Florida
attempt to
State.
Florida State.
And then Emmitt Smith went to Florida.
That is correct.
Yeah.
All right. Who has the most points scored in a fantasy football season ever?
Oh, which player?
Which player in one season has scored the most points?
And standard fantasy football scoring points, right?
This
Can
is,
you at least give me the year or not?
I can give you the position if you would like.
It's probably a running back.
Probably running back and one of Carson's all-time favorites.
Well, that would be LaDainian Tomlinson.
That is correct. All right. So
I was going to guess either him or Peterson.
or Peterson. Right.
But then when you told me, I appreciate the hint.
You're welcome.
You feel sorry for the guy who really technically can't win.
I guess I only gave you one Tom Brady question. I apologize.
That's all right.
But the last question would be, who leads the NFL in all history with the most interceptions of all time?
The most thrown interceptions.
Yes.
Most thrown interceptions has got to be Brett Favre.
That is correct. It is Brett Favre with 332.
Now let's just make certain that of those 332, only 3 were with Minnesota.
There we go.
Except for the crippling one.
Yeah, well.
So
in
he
the
was
NFC
in his,
Championship
basically what you're
game.
saying is he was in his prime with Minnesota just for
For 1
Well.
year.
just for 1 year.
Well, you could get good Brett
Mm-hmm.
and non-interception throwing Brett, but eventually the real Brett had to. He reared its ugly head at the worst possible moment.
He even threw 6 interceptions in one game.
Yeah,
Wow.
those playoff.
Playoff games.
Yeah,
Wow.
but the tortured history of the Vikings playoff is. I have a fair amount of sympathy for that. It's tough.
Right.
It's like the Cubs.
Right. Just like
True.
Cubs. So,
Yeah.
Dad, just for fun, I'll give you the tiebreaker question. Who is the all-time leading scorer in the NBA, the all-time home run leader in the MLB, and the all-time touchdown passing leader in the NFL?
Okay, the all-time leading scorer in the NBA is LeBron James now.
Yes.
The the all-time home run king is Henry Aaron. No.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. 755 stands.
That's the real one.
In parentheses, Barry Bonds is
Yes.
762, and then the NFL, all the passing records and stuff that just get piled on by these guys over their careers. they sort of just become white noise to me because the guys in recent history, the Favres and the Bradys and the Drew Breeses of the world have seemed like they are breaking another all-time record every 5 minutes. So I can't really remember exactly. I mean, does Brady hold the record?
Brady
I
does
thought he
hold
did.
the record.
And so it was Breeze's record the completions record and the yards record?
I think
What was
his
it that he
record
broke
was
late?
the most yards.
Yards
I think
late
he
in his
was
career?
yards, yes.
Okay. Now, Tom tried to set a record this year for most pass attempts, especially for a man over 40 years old.
Right.
He's really retiring because he's got to get his shoulder reattached.
Oh, I'm sure he needs Tommy John in some form or fashion.
But anyway, so thanks for the sympathy question. It made me feel like I did pretty good.
Yeah.
It's almost like winning the consolation bracket or something.
Well, second place is the first loser. So let's hand the mic over to the first place
That's
winner.
right.
So were you nervous going into today's matchup versus the powerhouse Ed Chapman?
You know, I was actually most nervous about the NBA because
and that's where you got the lead. Yeah.
and from the NBA from 2005 to present, I'm weak.
Right.
Same.
So I tried to give you questions then, and I thought Dad would know a little bit more about my fandom as an OKC
That Oklahoma
fan.
City question was tough.
Yeah. Boy.
Because I remember we had talked about how Russ carried this terrible team to the playoffs and won the MVP, so I thought you might be able to remember a little bit about that starting lineup. But
No, you projected your fandom onto me there.
Yeah,
I
that is
don't
true.
have that much.
that is true.
I'm still a little miffed about the Jordan Dream Team question. I should have just gone.
Should have just gone with your gut.
Gone with my gut.
All right, so while we got some time, I think we've got to do it. We'll start with you. I think we want to see how far you can go between 2023 Super Bowl winner and see how far you can go and name. Can you still do the MVPs of the
I
game,
can do the
Sue?
MVP.
All right, so I'm not even going to say when to go or when to stop. You just go on a roll, and he's going to try to name every Super Bowl winner along with the MVP.
Okay. Super Bowl 1, Packers. MVP, Bart Starr.
That's correct.
Super Bowl 2, Packers. MVP, Bart Starr.
Mm-hmm.
Super Bowl 3 is the Jets. MVP, Joe Namath. Super Bowl 4, Chiefs. MVP, Len Dawson. Super Bowl 5, Cowboys, but the MVP was from the losing. No, I'm sorry. MVP was from the Cowboys, who were the losing team. The winner was the Colts, but the MVP was Chuck.
That
Howard.
is correct. Wow.
Chuck
So Super Bowl 6 was the Cowboys, and that was Roger Staubach.
Yep.
Super Bowl 7 was the Dolphins, and MVP was Jake Scott.
Yep.
8 was the Dolphins. We won't mention who they beat. That was Larry Zonka.
Mm-hmm.
Super Bowl 9 was the Steelers,
Correct.
and that was Franco Harris.
Correct.
Super Bowl 10 was the Steelers. That was Lynn Swan.
Was Super Bowl 9, is that the Immaculate Reception?
No, that was a
No.
playoff game.
Oh, that was play. Okay, sorry.
But we won't mention Super Bowl 9 who.
That was the
who
Vikings.
Oh, sorry.
Super Bowl 11?
Yes.
That was the Raiders. We won't mention who they beat. But that was Fred Biletnikoff. Super Bowl 12 was the Cowboys. That was co-MVPs with
Wow.
Harvey Martin and Randy White.
Wow.
Super Bowl 13 and 14 are both the Steelers and both Terry Bradshaw.
Correct.
Super Bowl 15 is the Raiders. That was Jim Plunkett. Super Bowl 16 was the 49ers. That was Joe Montana. 17 was the Redskins. And that was John Riggins.
Yep.
Yeah.
Super Bowl 18 was the Raiders. That was Marcus Allen. 19 49ers. That was Joe Montana. Super Bowl 20. Yeah, it was some team from Chicago. And the MVP was Richard Dent.
Yep.
21 was the Giants. That was Phil Simms. 22 was the Redskins. That was Doug Williams. 23 was the 49ers, and that was Jerry Rice. 24 was the 49ers. That was Joe Montana.
This is crazy.
25 was the Giants. That was O.J. Anderson. 26 was the Redskins. That was Mark Rippon. 27 was the Cowboys. That was Troy Aikman.
Yep.
28 was the Cowboys, and that was Emmitt Smith. 29 was the 49ers. That was Steve Young. 30 was the Cowboys. That was Larry Brown.
Yep.
31 was the Packers. That was Desmond Howard. 32 was the Broncos, and that was Terrell Davis.
Yep.
33 was the Broncos. That was John Elway.
Yep.
34 was the Rams. That was Kurt Warner. 35 was the Ravens. That was Ray Lewis. 36 was the Patriots. That was Tom Brady. 37 was the Buccaneers. That was Dexter Jackson.
Wow. This is silly.
38 was the Patriots. That was Tom Brady. 39 was the Patriots. That was Deion Branch. 40 was the Steelers. That was Hines Ward. 41 was the Colts. That was Peyton Manning. 42 was the Giants. That was Eli Manning. 43 was the Steelers. That was Santonio Holmes.
Yep. One of the greatest catches in Super Bowl history.
Yep. 44 was the Saints.
Yep.
And that was Drew Brees. 45 was the Packers. That was Aaron Rodgers. 46 was the Giants. Eli Manning. 47 was the...
First roadblock here.
That was the Ravens.
Oh, never mind.
I was thinking who the MVP. Boy. Joe Flacco.
Yep.
48 was the Seahawks, and that was Malcolm Smith.
That is correct.
49 was the Patriots, and that was Tom Brady.
Yep.
50 was the Broncos, and that was Von Miller.
Mm-hmm.
51 was the Patriots, and that was Tom Brady.
Yep.
52 was the Eagles, and that was Nick Foles.
Mm-hmm.
53 was the Patriots, and that was...
The worst Super Bowl ever.
Yeah. Trying to remember if that was the Julia Edelman one. Yeah.
It was.
Edelman.
Yeah, it was.
And then 54. Boy, now they're getting recent and they're harder to remember.
This is incredible.
54. Boy, oh boy. That was the Chiefs, and that was Mahomes.
Right.
55 was the Buccaneers, and that was Brady.
Yep.
56 was the Rams,
Mm-hmm.
and that was
Cooper
Cooper Cup.
Right.
And then 57 just happened with the Chiefs and Mahomes.
That is insane. That is stupid.
I'm walking out.
That is insane.
Don't ask me the World Series thing, because there were a whole lot more long pauses and uhs and ums when you asked me to rattle off the World Series winners.
Right.
He did that with confidence.
That was, I think their only roadblock was the Ravens Super Bowl MVP. That was the only time you really stopped.
Yeah.
I've been thinking who that was.
So I have to ask you this. You can give him the mic there. So what do you think you could learn more if you could replace that stuff out of your brain right there? Like how much... What would Suzanne say if you had more knowledge to replace this with?
Oh, I could tell you exactly what she'd say. When's trash day?
They can't tell you that.
Yeah.
But
easily forgotten trash day.
Right.
It certainly does not carry the same appeal as watching the Super Bowl and then memorizing that stuff.
Absolutely.
That was interesting.
Yes. That's what I have always said. If there's something I'm interested in, and I think I got this from you. If there's something I'm interested in, you're going to get my full effort. If there's something I'm not very interested in, it's shaky.
Hit or miss. Yeah,
and I think that goes for all men.
Absolutely.
But when it comes to sports stuff, we just know so much useless stuff that, I feel like I could be such a better student. And I'm sure you guys could have been better students if we didn't have this stuff in our mind.
It was a distraction.
Yes.
Yeah. But, hey, until you find a trivia show that will pay you for this knowledge...
There's going to be a day where your skills are needed.
Right. You should keep holding out hope, right?
There's going to be a day.
Trivial Pursuit game.
I know a lot of I know a lot of useless information about Kentucky basketball.
Yeah, I know that's
that we didn't
probably
get
your
into.
forte.
That would probably be my forte,
Right.
or Callaway County basketball, which of course nobody has an interest in. But
right.
So I don't think that will ever pay off.
Oh my goodness.
Financially.
Well, that was a ton of fun just hearing your guys' knowledge. Is there any other just random old facts that you like to spit out that would just blow our minds? You got any MLB ones that, or anything? You got a random one for us?
No, I mean, I can't think of anything that would be of interest to anyone necessarily. But for parlor games, or for a dinner party, if somebody needs useless sports trivia,
right?
You could hire us
these
out.
These are the guys right here.
We would have a shot at some of that stuff.
These are the guys.
If you keep it close to our sweet spot. So
right.
I'm normally ashamed and embarrassed to lose and very angry, but I tip my hat to the better man today.
Oh my goodness! So when Melanie told me about you, she mentioned, if you know sports, you'll be just fine, and I was like, thank you, Ed Chapman, for raising me in such a sports household, because, meeting the father of your girlfriend's kind of a nerve-wracking experience, but I knew that we could bond over something. And then the first time that you guys met, we were at Mr. V's, and these two just sat and talked for over an hour. I don't even think they acknowledged us the entire time we were eating lunch.
I think it went into the parking lot too.
Right, yeah. They just kept on conversing and just probably spitting out more useless, random sports knowledge. But thank you guys for listening today. If you are dumbfounded by their random knowledge, be sure to leave a like and subscribe on YouTube, and also follow us on Apple Podcasts at Man2Man. Carson will probably be on the episode next week, but had to kick him out for the knowledge of these two. I won't call you oldies, but I'll call you veterans. That's what I'll call you.
Yeah.
Aged veterans.
Vintage.
Vintage veterans. You got something to say?
Hey, see if you can get if somebody wants to leave some comments. I don't check those comments, so get them to Jackson if you've got some good sports knowledge, and then Jackson can verify that we didn't Google them sometime, maybe.
Right.
We'll do a grab bag again sometime.
Oh, absolutely. I think we got to do a part 2 of where I try to trick you guys even more with these questions, to where I feel like some of these questions are kind of a layup, and you're like, oh, I didn't have to think that much about it. But some of them, you kind of did have to do some thinking. But again, thank you guys for being on the episode. Appreciate you guys just spreading your knowledge to the youth of America and the people that listen to this show. So we will catch you guys next week.